And it looks like we're going.
Great. Good.
Okay. So this is part one of two for our training for using the virtual coaching platform. No one here yet has been set up with an account on VCP. At the end of this session, I'm just going to ask Pauline for a list of email addresses, and I will set you all up with accounts, and you'll be able to at least practice uploading. That's really, like Pauline had mentioned, more of the student's role. So bear with me in that for now. So our agenda today is to go over the goals of the project, which is basically building teamwork skills. I'm going to go over the consent process and the measures that can be taken to protect confidentiality. Then there'll be a little overview of the technical aspects of recording sessions, either using video or audio, and then uploading your content into VCP. And that's about as far as we're going to be able to get. I feel like that's enough to make everyone's head spin a little bit, hopefully not too much. And I think Rebecca is just joining us as well. Do you see that, Pauline?
Yes, I did. So welcome, Rebecca, and we're just getting started.
Yep. And Rebecca, we're going to be recording this too, so you can refer to it later on. All right. So Pauline, did you want to take over the goals?
Yeah, I was just going to give a summary of the goals, which translate into parameters that we selected for this first part of the VCP project, for the integrated care project. The idea being that we would select some preliminary areas of practice to focus on, and that students would be learning skills in, and field instructors would be giving feedback on. And these would be specifically related to the ICP project. And then if you wanted to, once you've become familiar with the system and are comfortable with uploading and the feedback process, then you might want to think about choosing some of your own goals to focus on in order to individualize the training. So it's a flexible kind of training where we've selected the first set of goals, and then you, if you want to, can choose some different goals for maybe for spring term. So the three goals that we've selected for now are focused on effective teamwork. So the first one is contributing to effective interdisciplinary teamwork. And for that, we were thinking about the ways that staff who represent different disciplines work together to share their expertise, their knowledge and skills to facilitate positive outcomes for youth and families. And so these are some specific behaviors that we are thinking you might be looking for as you are recording and as field instructors are giving feedback. So, for example, making positive contributions to interdisciplinary meetings, facilitating input by others, recognizing the importance of contributions from different disciplines, and intervening when needed to improve team functioning. These seem like some skills that students might be wanting to learn in order to be able to function effectively in teams. I'll pause there. Any question about that first one? Okay, I'll go on through the three and pause again then. Yeah, go on, John.
Just one quick little thing. When we're talking about these goals and how they relate to VCP, what you're going to find, and this is going to be addressed more in the second part of the training, that your feedback will be guided by these goals. So that when a video is put on VCP for you to look at and review, you'll actually have these areas for commenting. So that's kind of why we're going over these.
Okay, thank you, John, for clarifying. So the second goal we selected is connected with the aim of the project around improving skills for working with children, youth, young adults and families in team settings. So we've defined this as intentional efforts to promote opportunities for youth to enhance their interest, skills and abilities. And then we've again translated that into a set of behaviors that you might be observing and evaluating and giving feedback on. supporting youth and family choices in setting goals, or representing their wishes if they're not present at the meeting. So ideally, we're hoping that youth and families are in the team meetings, but if not, what is the student doing to represent their family's preferences? Secondly, focusing on youth and family strengths, interests, skills, and abilities, creating opportunities to increase youth's interests, skills, and abilities, and then connecting youth with others who will facilitate positive development. Can we go to the next slide, John?
Of course.
Thank you. The third goal is around contributing in a positive way to the development of interdisciplinary team care plans, which we define as an agreement between the youth and family and team regarding outcomes to be achieved and the activities to be pursued in support of goal achievement. The behaviours we'd be looking at are contributing our own expertise to the creation of goals and the development of the interdisciplinary care plan, adjusting our profession's activities to support the team goals, and developing intervention strategies that help youth and families attain goals. So these are the areas of practice that we are encouraging you to focus on this term. Obviously, they may vary a little depending on the setting that students are working in, but the idea will be that students are recording examples of their behavior in team settings and selecting particular segments for field instructors to review and give feedback on. And the idea being that promoting effective strategies and minimizing the use of behaviors that aren't particularly helpful. John has encouraged us, based on his prior experience, to add a category that really helps us to think about where students have missed opportunities. How do we learn from missed opportunities? And reviewing a tape, a student herself or himself may well notice a place where he or she missed an opportunity to make a positive contribution, and or a field instructor might be noticing that too. So we added a fourth dimension for you to be thinking about, which is making a more effective contribution in any of the three areas described above, with feedback about what could be done better. So we'll pause there and just see if anyone has any thoughts or comments or feedback on those goals and our ways of thinking about them and their relevance in the settings that you're working in. No comments, no questions? Well, we can come back to it later if you think of things as we're moving through the rest of the webinar. But if there aren't any questions at this point, let's move on and have John talk about the consent process.
Okay, thanks, Pauline. So before any kind of recording ever happens, we want to make sure that we have obtained consent. It's funny, before you all got on the line, I was talking with Pauline, and I'm usually on the research or human development side of this, so there's a lot of, there's a much more formal consent process that happens, but we still want to respect the rights of people who do participate in our learning, and I think that this guideline that I've outlined here will do that in an ethical manner. First, obviously, talk to the folks that are going to potentially participate about the project. Maybe not on the day that you expect to record, just let them know, hey, at some point, I'm a student and I would be interested in using this new platform and taking either a video or audio recording of our team meeting to discuss with my supervisor. And you can remind them that these recordings will only be used in the virtual coaching platform, which is a secure, field-tested, password-protected website, and it won't be shared outside of your class. And these recordings will actually, they won't live for very long. They will be deleted as soon as the class is over. So they're, they won't live on. I think people tend to get a little worried with the internet, and for good reason, that the internet never forgets. But we have the control on this site to be able to delete these recordings. I think the release form that we sent out, the revised one, not the one that went out first, does cover these points, and so the person that's signing them can kind of be reminded that we're only using it for these purposes, and there is a definite deletion date. If you come across any technical questions or others that you have hesitation answering, feel free to ask the person to contact me, and I've listed my contact information on this slide. I'd also say that I'm also available for technical assistance should you need it. So feel free to email me if you're trying to upload something or you have a technical question as well. I'm here to help you with all of that. And also, finally, you can remind folks that they can say no. Refusing to participate should have no consequences whatsoever. You'll just have to find a different way to record, or maybe a different team meeting, etc. My experience has been, though, most people, when they understand the protocols, the security protocols that are in place, that and the benefit that their participation might have for learning or research, etc., they are amenable to participation. Any questions about those background issues? Okay, well, I'll move on. So, assuming that folks agree to participate, first, thank you. Make sure we thank them, and they're helping you learn. Then bring out the video release form that we circulated via email, and we might want to just do that again to make sure you have the latest one. If there's any questions about the release form, or there's something that needs to be on there per a particular agency or whatever, please let me know, and we can try to work that out. And then we're going to do what I call explaining the process. Once we've obtained their consent, this is what we're going to be doing. You might even make this part of the consenting process. Actually, now that I think about it, people might naturally ask, well, how is this going to happen? And basically, I think 5 bullets I have laid out there, more or less, that's what's going to happen. You're going to use a recording device. Show them the device. We can talk a little bit more about recording when we get to the technical aspect of this presentation. And then you're going to let them know that the file that you record on there will be transferred into VCP, the secure password protected website, via upload. And then you and your field supervisor, maybe other students in the class, will review the recording, again, for your learning purposes, and you'll receive feedback based on the practice skills that are observed. And then the recording will be deleted from the device, should be deleted from the device immediately after upload is complete. And then it will be deleted from VCP once the class ends on June 10th. So I think that basically covers that part of it. Any questions about that? Okay, well, feel free to stop me anytime. I wanted to talk a little bit about protecting confidentiality. But before we go into that, I'm trying to recall where I was with this slideshow when I put it together. Did anybody have questions in particular about the technical aspects of recording? Do you have access to a recording device?
Should we take a no response as a yes or a no? Have you all thought about what you're going to be using? I know you mentioned in your email, Rebecca, that you've got access at your clinic.
Rebecca and I have talked about different ways to do the recording, and so we have options that look like they'll work based on the process.
And what about you, Jeff and Lucrecia?
Would I be able to use my my laptop? It has video capabilities.
That's actually the preferred method. So yes.
Okay, then I could use mine.
Okay.
Great. Good.
Yeah, as long as you can create a video file, VCP accepts many, many different kinds of formats, and I'm sure your laptop will be compatible. That I'll go into the basics of uploading, I think, today as well, so you'll see once you have the file what to do with it. All right. Well, and again, if at any point you know, you have questions or later on, feel free to email me. I mean, like I said, I'm here for any kind of technical support that you need. All right, so back to protecting confidentiality. So while VCP has a number of technical security features that, quite honestly, I don't even totally understand, but I'm told are more than safe, we need to be using VCP in a manner that makes the most of those protocols. And when you go to the vcponline.com page, that's the home page for VCP, you'll notice in the left sidebar there's some videos. We're actually going to watch both of those videos today. They're really short, they're only a couple minutes long, but I think they do a really good job of illustrating the kind of concepts that I want to go over here. And the first video we're going to look at next is how to protect confidentiality. And so I'll play the video. Hopefully there may be a slight lag from when I start it, just because GoToMeeting has that slight lag. But once the video finishes, I'll move on to the next slide and we can address any questions that we encounter. This video is just under 3 minutes long. Okay, here we go. Welcome to VCP. This tutorial will guide you through your first login to VCP and highlight some best practices when using VCP. You should receive your username and initial password from your VCP site administrator via email. This email will also contain a link to your organization's VCP site. Clicking on the link in your email will take you to the VCP login screen. Enter your login credentials here. On your first visit to VCP, your browser might ask you if you want to save your password. Please choose no. On your first login, you'll be asked to agree to the terms and conditions for using VCP. Please read these carefully, check the box indicating that you agree, and then click Submit. You will now be asked to change your password. Please create a strong password that will be hard for others to guess. Keep in mind that strong passwords are at least 8 characters long. Don't contain your username, real name, or company name. Don't contain a complete word, like hello, are completely different from your other passwords, and contain special characters like uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols like an exclamation point. Enter your new password twice, click Submit. You're now ready to use VCP. When using VCP, keep in mind the following best practices to keep your organization's data secure. Only use your login credentials to access VCP and do not share these credentials with anyone else. If you feel that someone else might have access to your login credentials, change your password immediately and notify your site administrator. You can change your password from the login screen by clicking on this link. Access VCP in a private setting whenever you upload, view, or rate content. This will help protect the identity of people who may appear in videos, are heard in audios, or are discussed within documents. Be mindful that audio from the video or audio file may carry through closed doors. Use headphones while analyzing video or audio data. If you will be leaving your computer at any time during your VCP session, please log out of VCP completely to prevent unauthorized access. Also, upon ending your VCP session, please log out of VCP and close your browser completely to prevent unauthorized access. If you have any questions or concerns about how to use VCP in the safest manner, okay. I hope that worked out all right for everybody.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions about those things?
No.
Okay, good. And if you want a refresher, just the vcponline.com page has that video as well. I just thought we'd watch them together so that we could ask questions if you had them. So the next
Actually, I do have a question.
Oh, sure.
So we would have an account per organization, and so the student and supervisor both would access the same with the same email and the same password, or each one of us would have a different one?
Yeah, each user will have a different email to username to log into, and therefore a different password. And what I'm thinking about doing is more or less just grouping you with your supervisor. So only you and your supervisor will be seeing your videos. That makes sense.
Yeah, so we will set up an account in the name of the organization, and then under that, you have two users that you would team up somehow. Yep. Okay. I don't know exactly what that means, but you know what you mean. Okay, that sounds good.
And from your end, it won't really matter too much. I mean, what you're going to notice is you're going to log in, and there's going to be a screen that more or less, you know, probably we'll be going through this on the next video. Or the next training, we're going to show you actually how to use VCP. So for now, just you'll be able to log in and you'll be able to upload videos to a files queue, and then the next training will cover what to do after that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep, good question. Any others? Okay, so this video, again, is about 2 or 3 minutes long. We did talk about what device you'll be using already. I kind of jumped the gun on that one, but I'm glad I did. And now we can just see how to upload. So this is after you've recorded, like with your laptop, etc., and you have a media file, what are we going to do with it? And this video addresses that. So I'm going to let this video run. This one is 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and we can talk about it afterward. And we're almost at the end of our training. This tutorial will show you how to upload content into VCP. Please note that VCP will accept a variety of common video and audio file formats as well as PDF documents. To begin, connect your recording device to your computer via USB cable. Next, move files from your recording device to your desktop. You can use the drag and drop technique. First, left-click and hold on the file you want to move. While still holding the mouse button down, drag the file onto your desktop. Once you have positioned the file over the desktop, release the mouse button. It will look like this. Now, log into VCP. From your VCP homepage, choose Files. Click on the Upload a File button. You will now be taken to the Upload screen. Notice the VCP Upload box. You can drag and drop files into the VCP Upload box. To do this, reduce your browser screen to reveal your desktop below. Then drag and drop your file into the Upload box. When you have moved your file over successfully, you'll see the file name in the Upload box. Next, check the statement indicating you have permission to upload, then click the Upload button. Your files will appear in the Upload Video file queue when complete. This may take some time, depending on the size and length of it. Once you see your file in your upload queue, you will know that it has uploaded to VCP successfully. Now, you can delete other copies of your files on your computer and recording device. Here's a helpful tip. You can move multiple files into VCP at once. First, select the group of files you wish to upload. Next, drag and drop the group into the upload box. Here's another helpful tip. If you're not comfortable dragging and dropping, you can always browse for files by clicking in the upload box. For more information or additional assistance, please contact. Okay. So, that last bit about browsing for files, I'm thinking, Jeff, that might be the route you would want to go because that file will already be on your computer, assuming you kind of know where your video ends up when you record. So any questions about that?
I do have a question also. So we download the program, the VCP program, and then do we record through the VCP program? I don't know how it's called, but the download, or are we using the computer to videotape?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Let me clear this up because I didn't exactly mention this. So VCP lives on the internet. You're going to go to a website, vcponline.com. You don't have to have software on your computer to work VCP except your web browser. So you're going to need a recording device to actually take either the video or the audio. That's where that file is going to come.
So those are the files that we transfer into the website, into the web.
Yeah, it would be like any, I don't know if you've ever done this, but some people, they take pictures of the digital camera and they want to move their pictures from their camera onto maybe Facebook or somewhere. It's basically the same process. You would attach, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Makes sense?
Yeah, it does. It just, we have had so many conversations about, you know, the most difficult part of the confidentiality is the risk of the recording file staying in the computer. So I think we have our agreements in the office is how to do that, so we can follow those too.
Yeah, and I believe if you, here's the very technical thing. I mean, even when you delete things from your computer, they still kind of live there.
Yeah, that's the question, the conversations that we have had.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they are overwritten. Basically, when you delete something, it just tells the computer that it's okay to write over this file. But if it doesn't need to write over that file, the file sort of is there, but very, very hard to get to. So that's why I recommend just, you know, taking the reasonable precautions of moving any files that you don't need once everything's in VCP and you're sure it is, like you see it in the files queue. Moving that into your recycle bin and then emptying your recycle bin. That at least makes it much harder for anybody to get the file. And of course you want to delete it from your device as well. So if you're using a camera or audio recorder, you want to make sure that that file doesn't live there either.
So based on the goals, it doesn't seem like you're inviting the students to record contact with clients. I am interested in that. Can we do that?
Pauline, would you like to?
Well, yeah, I'll answer that. I'll kind of fumble it a little bit, but when we thought about parameters, we were thinking about the goals of the project, and we were thinking about potential risk to clients and not wanting students to get into complicated situations needing to ask permission of clients and get signed informed consent. We thought it might be an additional level of complexity that the agencies might not welcome. So that was why when I was thinking about parameters and selecting the goals, I purposely selected interactions where the emphasis would be on the teamwork skills. I think obviously the technology lends itself to interactions with clients, and in fact that's what it was originally designed for. It was designed to be used to help practitioners develop their skills in working in wraparound services, and that involved direct work with youth and families. So yes, the technology lends itself to that. The evaluative and feedback system we've developed for using this term actually focuses on those teamwork skills. So I think going back to what I said at the beginning about if you want to individualize what you're focusing on between field instructor and student, John can set that up for you. There's flexibility built into the system to focus on goals that the field instructor and student want to be working on.
Yeah, we already have used for years the recording of client contact. So we already have forms and consents and all that kind of stuff already established in our program. So, and it may, yeah, I could talk to you later about more details, Pauline. But
yeah, well, and I'd appreciate John's commentary on the technical aspects because of the way you set up the procedures online, John, in terms of switching to a different set of goals in work with clients. Can you say a bit more about that? Because I haven't used the system myself other than to go through the orientation, and so I'm not sure how complicated it would be to set it up for Lucrecia and Jeff to have some different goals to work on.
Yeah, I could work with Lucrecia and Jeff about that. It's not hard to do. It would have to be something that I would have to put into the system, and I just need I need some bits of information. But back to the, so that's not a big deal, and we can cross that bridge when we come to it. It looks like the first training, at least, will involve the questions of the rubric that we sort of set up already. But the question about client, see, it's a little bit more tricky if you're going to be potentially encountering any protected health information with a client, because this then gets us into the realm of HIPAA, which it creates a whole nother layer of consents and processes that honestly we just don't have in place at this moment.
can you use ours? Can you accept that we have it internally, and because we will be the one at risk, and we have to
yes and no. I mean, the fact that the video will live on a PSU server actually puts the university at risk.
You're right. You're right.
So
but it will be eliminated. It has a date to be eliminated, and that's what we communicate. Exactly the same thing as what we communicate to clients. There is a date that everything is when the students end. There was always a date, and they indicate to the client as the date that everything will be eliminated.
Yeah, let me get back to you about that. I want to talk to
let's talk about it. Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, and what Pauline's saying is true. I mean, and I've seen this in use and research, et cetera, where it is very powerful. It's sort of like a fly on the wall. I mean, I think when we're in the moment and we're working with people, you know, we're not always aware of what's happening, or we're not quite seeing things always that clearly. Maybe we're flustered or nervous, or something's come up, and when you get a chance to step outside of that moment and actually watch what happened, I think it's a very enlightening thing. So I agree with you. Let me get back to you about that.
Sounds good, John. Thank you. Thank you for working with me on that, or us.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. All right. So are there any other questions?
I don't have any other questions.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, you have my email address, jdo@pdx.edu. Feel free to use it if you do think of something. Pauline, if you would send me everyone's email address, I will set you up with an account. Each one of you will set you up with an account on VCP within the next couple of days, and you'll be free to log in, get your password straightened out, poke around a little bit, And the next training that we'll have will really show you how to use the system for observation and feedback. All right?
That sounds great. I'll send the emails later today, John. I just wanted to clarify, students could actually start recording and uploading files prior to the webinar on the 29th, right? They could, once they get logged in and they're in the system, they could start playing around with it immediately.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And if you could also, when you send me their email, send me the relationships, like who is whose supervisor, because I need to sort of, I need that because I'll set them up in groups that way. So
yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Well,
any other questions from anyone?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, we'll thank you all for joining us. And will you let me know when the recording is available so that I can send an email to the folks who couldn't join us today about how to access it?
Yep, it'll be embedded in YouTube so that anyone can watch it, and I'll put it on the VCP Online site. So we're good to go. Thanks a lot, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Bye-bye.
Yep. Now.